Are you looking to improve your dog's leash manners and engagement with you while you are walking with them? Are you just looking for to do some canine fitness? Or even are you looking to do some like more trick-based training? One of the things that you can use is a pivot bowl. This is actually just a really large dog water bowl. That's all I use. I just put a little extra contact sticky on it to make it a little less slippery. You can always buy a bowl that has the rubber gripper on the bottom. That helps too. So I'm going to go over some of the things that you can do with a pivot bowl and your dog to kind of work on all those things I just talked about. Step one is not every dog is going to be comfortable on a pivot bowl. So I'm going to use Tigger because Tigger has never been on a pivot bowl before. So I think it'll be a little bit more relatable to people who have never introduced their dog to a pivot bowl. You could also use something like this Fit Paws, more like soft, cushiony, if you want to start there and then work your way to something smaller. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try first with just getting him up on the pivot bowl. The first step is we want to get them comfortable with the pivot bowl. So all I'm going to do first is I'm just going to put some treats on the tool or on the pivot bowl just to help him acclimate to what this is. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use a treat, let them eat it. You're going to lure them over until they have no choice. You kind of keep pulling until they have no choice but to step up and actually put their paws up on to the bowl. So I'm going to move it with my knee a little bit. Come on, Wee. Good. So they might give you a little bit of a runaround if your dog is really not comfortable. Just hold the treat. As soon as they get one paw up, so he kind of got a paw up on the side. I'm going to reward that so he knows that all I'm asking him to do is make contact with the bowl. Ready? Up. Good. Yes. This way. Good. Up. Yeah, good boy. Up. Good. Ready? This way. Up. So he's struggling with the smaller one, even though I got the biggest one. So I'm going to actually use something a little bigger. You could actually do the same thing with a good boy, yay, with a pillow if you wanted, or even with a mat, just something. The goal is to help your dog get used to being lured up and over and onto something new. So again, this one's a little bigger, so it's going to be easier for him. He got one. Come on, Ba. Up. Nope. So just be consistent. Yeah, come on. Yes, good boy. He got a paw on. I release the treat. I reward. So he knows that that's all I'm looking for him to do. Yes. Come on. So don't be surprised if they're a little bit like evasive of it. It's weird. This one actually has the nubby side up. I'm actually going to put the smooth side down to see if that helps him a little bit more. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Ready? Good. Here you go. Hey, no, sir. Yes, good boy. Come on. Yes, good boy. So go slowly and just help them acclimate to actually having to put their paws up on it. And this is how you're going to start. Once they get comfortable with something a little bigger, maybe a little bit more bouncy, you can work on more pivot bowl specific stuff, which I will show you here in a second with Apollo. Come on. Yes! Yeah, good boy! So that time he actually got both paws up, which is a big win for him. So I'm going to do it one more time so I can keep the momentum going. Up. You can use a word like up. If you haven't watched the video that I did on up and off, up is a good use. Good boy. Yes! Up is a good way to kind of tell your dog, like, I need you, good boy. I need you to get up on this object. And then you can work on like having them build duration and staying on it and then getting off. So that's the first step, is just introducing them how to get up and on weird things. Maybe you have to use something bigger or a pillow, and then you can move to an actual pivot bowl. So give me 1 second and I will bring out Apollo and show you what it would look like kind of finalized. So I'm back and I'm here with Apollo. Has done the pivot bowl before. So once your dog builds a lot more confidence in doing these behaviors, that's when you can start transitioning it. Let's go this way so they can see, buddy. Up. So I lure him up. He gets both paws on the pivot bowl. Up. So you want him to get both of their paws up. Get them comfortable just getting both of their paws up on the pivot bowl. You can treat them here. Then what you're going to start doing is you're going to start adding movement. So I always find the easiest way to add movement is they're going to keep their paws on the pivot bowl, but we want them to move their back end around. And this is why it can be helpful for canine fitness. So I always like to move into them first. So I'm going to use a little bit of body pressure to just have him learn to move his back legs around. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Yeah, good boy. So obviously, if you're able to go into their space, that is a lot easier. He hasn't quite mastered the other way. So I'm going to see if I can get him. So I'm going to get him to spin. I'm going to use the treat lure to spin him this way. He wants to get off the pivot bowl. So up. Good. This might be something we're going to have to work on. There you go, bud. There. So now I haven't created as much space, but now I created more space, so I'm not using spatial pressure. Good boy. But he is spinning the opposite way around. This is great canine fitness and conditioning if you're going to do any sort of tricks that are like jump or bounce or boing, sit pretty. This is a good way to help with rear end awareness or even cues like them walking backwards. This is going to help get them a lot stronger. So as your dog gets better on the pivot bowl, you can start to increase the speed in which they are moving. And then once they've finished with the pivot bowl, that's when you can transition into your leash walking and pivots. So again, let's walk, pivot. So they begin to stay more connected with you because that is what you've kind of already worked on with the pivot bowl. And obviously hand position and luring plays a big factor. So he's not quite good. He's not as good at it, but depending on his legs his front legs would kind of stay steady and he would swing his back end around. That's how you would see it in like more competitive obedience. But in any case, I hope this video was helpful and useful and give you something else to do with your dog in teaching and how to teach pivot turns by using pivot bowls or just helping with canine fitness or just building your relationship with your bond or doing something, giving you something else to do or work on and building that connectedness with a new tool. So if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Find other information and content on our social channels at For Babies and Friends AZ, and also feel free to check out our other videos on YouTube. So happy training, and we will catch you on the next video. Thanks and have a good day.